Clive,
Hey Tracy,
how are you?
I'm well. Good to see you. Yeah,
You too.
this is getting regular.
And there you go.
I've been enjoying your music on the Facebook stream,
Thank you. I appreciate it.
and I sent the album file to my station manager here at Solar Radio, and I had it
Hmm.
from him about an hour ago saying, Clive, that album by Tracye Eileen, that's great. He said, I was going to play a track tomorrow. He said, no, I don't know which track to choose. They're all so good. So you've got
Oh,
another fan there.
great. Time I said thank you.
Well, this is what we're all about. We're helping you to make you're already a name anyway, and I'm looking at your biography on the website and thinking, well, this lady's been there and done it anyway. Here we are.
Yeah,
Where are you actually from? The website says Chicago based. Are you a Chicago girl or were you
I
born
am.
elsewhere?
No, I'm a native Chicagoan.
Okay. And what got you into music in Chicago?
Well, actually, are we starting the interview now, Clive?
But yeah, we are. Yeah.
Okay, great. So actually, I started my first performance was at 8 years old when I was
Wow.
in third grade, and we did a play for The Wizard of Oz,
Yeah.
and I auditioned for Dorothy. It was three casts, and I was just so shy that I just couldn't speak loud enough to get the part. And but when I sang, the faculty was like, "Oh yeah, this is it."
Yeah.
And so what they ultimately did is they changed the play and they wrote me into all three casts, and they had Dorothy go to sleep, and I came in while she was sleeping and
Oh,
sang Somewhere Over the Rainbow as this fairy godmother type of character.
wow.
And that was kind of the beginning, and all the way. So I always sang in high school, jazz band, the choir at church, the choir in high school. In college, I went to Jackson State University, the university jazz band, the university singers. And my original plan was I went and got a MBA, master's, and I was going to go and work for CBS Records
Yeah.
and somehow get discovered in the studio. And just life happens, and I got sidetracked, went into banking, continued to sing, in choirs, weddings, funerals, but not professionally.
No.
And then in 2009, I got divorced, and I just decided I was gonna, you know, live the life that I always wanted, which was to be a professional singer.
Yeah.
And so I went to study at the Bloom School of Jazz in Chicago for a year. And it was a course of going from amateur to professional. And as a result of that, the owner of the school wanted to help me make the transition. So he actually put together my band of amazing Chicago-based musicians. Um, and most of all except for I have a different drummer, but the rest of them are all with me, and that was back in 2010.
Yeah.
And then I added a wonderful sax player, so it's a five-piece band now. But that, yeah, kind of started me on the journey.
Okay. Tracy, do you want to give us some names of the band? Who's in the band with you?
Yeah, my music director is Pat Fleming. He's an amazing guitar player. And then on bass is Paul Martin. On keys is Tom Veitzes. On sax is James Perkins, and on drums is Malcolm Banks.
They're quite a unit, and they got quite a front lady as well.
Thank you. Yeah, these, and you know what, and I'm sure you know this, and putting together a band, it's not just the talent, it's the synergy and
Oh,
the
sure. Yeah.
energy,
Yeah.
and the positivity and how people connect. So it took a while for us
Yeah.
to get it just right. But yeah, it was great. So we've been doing a residency at Buddy Guy's Legends Jazz and Blues Club in Chicago. Um, I guess this would have been 5 years. And then, but although we didn't play, I think we had one, maybe two gigs in 2020 before everything shut down.
Okay.
Yeah, but I normally would play there with the band every second Sunday.
Yeah.
So that opened up, in addition to where the music is playing, a more of a definitely playing in front of an international audience. So with this third album release, I had planned to make that the launch for really expanding more outside of Chicago and around the country and internationally touring. But then we know the pandemic happened, so we'll see.
Okay. Our previous conversation was you, as far as I could assess, trying to assess which direction to point yourself in from a marketing perspective, because the repertoire on the album you kindly sent me, Introducing, covers a multitude of styles, a diversity of styles, which is great to hear.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a preferred target audience, or are you just happy to take all the audience and just sing selectively?
Well, it's funny. Some years ago, I was advised, and through this journey, which I guess I'm about 10 years now. I've just been trying to learn as much as I can, and so while I like a variety of music, the advice was to your audience, your fans will determine, what lane you pretty much land in.
Yeah.
And for me, that was definitely smooth jazz and soulful R&B music.
Okay.
Yeah. So more of the smooth jazz soul.
Okay. Do you have any particular artists who you look back on and think, yeah, that is the direction I came from? People who you listen to and you've not necessarily been influenced by, but have taken some of their themes and included in your own style. Who is the main influence in that direction for you?
I don't know if I actively took things from people. I can tell you the people that I listened to the most and was inspired by the most.
Yeah.
And there's several. So
I'm sure there will be.
So definitely Ella Fitzgerald, Billie Holiday, Nancy Wilson, Phyllis Hyman, Shaka Khan, Dionne Warwick, Nancy Wilson, and more modern time probably is Jill Scott and Layla Hathaway.
Okay, so now we can add a Tracye Eileen to that spectrum as well.
Yes. It was interesting. When I was studying at the Bloom School of Jazz, I was like, yeah, I can sing, I know, blah, 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 blah. So I took a couple of mini courses before the year-long course, and they said, so after my first class, they were like, okay, what we need you to do is you need to like go in a dark alley and go deep and find yourself. And I was like, what? And I didn't understand it at the time until I did learn you actually have your own unique voice.
Yes.
And I think once vocalists kind of go deeper, and maybe it's true for other musicians as well, you find that, and you don't even realize you have some influences, but there is a unique you. And so I ultimately did find my own voice. So I'm most happy when people say, well, you really don't sound like anybody else. You just kind of sound like you. I'm like, okay, yay. That's
it. Funnily enough, that was the comment that my colleague Tony Munson said on the phone about an hour ago. He listened to your versions of I Can't Stand the Rain and Street Life on the album and said, well, he said, she does a version of Street Life, but it's so different from Randy Crawford that it's her own song, which is a compliment, as you'll understand. Yeah. Likewise, I Can't Stand the Rain, which is nothing like Ann Peebles, but it's very much like Tracye Eileen. What were the reasons for choosing those two songs, Tracye?
Well, my music director has a lot to do with it. We sort of... I think we have a similar taste in music, and then some music he's introduced to me too. I mean, for Randy Crawford, yeah, I would definitely throw her in there as one of the vocalists that I adore. And I told you there was many, so anybody I left out, I'm sorry. But, so we, so we just do the music that we like and feel. we did another, one of the things I think that we kind of is unique to my band is we will take classic soul music and kind of, and my music director, he does a wonderful arrangements, of those tunes. So one of the things we did that I really wanted to record, but we haven't had an opportunity, is he did an arrangement on "We Can Work It Out," the Beatles tune.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Which is awesome. It's awesome. So, and there's another one we do. I think it was on the album I sent you. It was a song by a group called Scritti Politti. Scritti Politti. Are you familiar with them?
I know the name. I've never heard the music.
Yeah, it's a 70s boy band kind of thing. And he's like,
Yeah.
you're going to love this. It's not going to sound like what you hear. I'm like, okay. And it actually ended up being Perfect Way. So that is actually one of our things, to kind of, do music in the soul jazz, smooth jazz vein. And, but there's a real talent in Pat in terms of arranging music and that kind of thing.
Yeah, and that comes through because you've actually got to re-knit the whole style of the song, don't you? Which is your MD has done so well.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have to bed into it and actually find the groove, which again is
Right.
what you do so well.
Thank you. Yes, exactly.
I didn't know until Tony mentioned it an hour ago. I hooked onto the song Black Cow and the album,
Mm-hmm.
mainly because of the time signature, which you described as a blues shuffle.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know it was a Steely Dan song, and I just found out this afternoon that it has a root, and the Black Cow is a drink. So that kind of...
Yes, it's a drink, and now you can kind of get it, because it's one of those. A lot of Steely Dan songs about drugging and drinking, but this was one. Yeah, he's like, go on and have your drink and just keep it moving. Okay.
And I gather from the biography that Why Did I Say Yes is kind of autobiographical. You want to clarify that a little bit?
It is, and it was funny, that was the first tune I wrote. I actually wrote that because I've attempted to write in the past, but I didn't finish a lot of tunes. But this was the first one I wrote, finished, and recorded. And two things that happened in just the development of me as a singer. The first thing that happens is when you decide. When you really find your own voice, it's really it's very bearing. It's very revealing,
Yes.
So you have to be willing to, when you're imitating someone else, it's like you're wearing clothes, but when you're really, this is you're exposing, you have to make a decision around that and get comfortable with that. Well, the same thing to me goes with writing, in that I had to make a decision. Okay, am I going to tell my business? Am I going to put it all out here? And so I had to make a decision about that. Yeah. And yes, so why did I say yes? My ex-husband thinks it's about him. But it's really more of about just the worst relationship of life. And everyone, I think, I found that it resonates with men and women. And you just kind of have a relationship where it's not good for you, and you get away from it, you run into each other, and then you kind of somehow find yourself right back where you started from, and then you're mad at yourself again, that kind of thing. Yeah, so it's that cycle of a relationship with someone you really care about, but it's just not a good place for you to be, and then ultimately choosing yourself.
That's a very philosophical attitude to take. You have to be philosophical about music, don't you? Because otherwise it'll turn around and kick you on the backside.
I think so. And I think the important thing about being an artist is being authentic. Yes. And I think the best stories are human stories. So if it actually happened to you, it's probably happened to other people too. And so
sure.
Yeah, right? They can more connect and relate to it.
Yeah. So I guess that's not where Home Is Where the Hatred Is came from. That's a different direction.
No, that's actually a blend of two songs. It's a song by Gil Scott-Heron.
Yes, it is.
And then The World Is a Ghetto. We kind of blended. That was another brilliant arrangement by Mr. Pat Fleming. The interesting thing about that is when we got the license to record it, Gil Scott Heron's son had to approve the derivative. And I was like, oh, wow, that's really cool. And he liked it and approved it. And so we were able to put it on the record.
Well, that's good because it comes over so well. And again, you make it yours. I mean, Esther Phillips did her version and that had its own Esther brand. Yours has got the Tracye brand about it, which is, it grabs you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. It's Probably Me is another one which people will look at and think, oh, that must be about the girl's life.
That's actually a Sting tune.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? And the other thing, and this this is one of the things, and that at the Bloom School of Jazz, it was about performing. It's really about being a professional. And one of the things that he brought in a actress, and which you may even recognize. I had seen her in a few television shows and in a couple movies. But one of the important things that I learned was the delivery of a tune. You have to tell a story. It has to be believable. You know, it has to. And so I'm glad you think it's a story about me. But it actually, the way I interpreted the song, I took the position of a mother and with a son that always gets in trouble.
Yeah.
You know, so I mean, I don't know if Sting, he probably wrote it from a different experience. But that was kind of my delivery so that I could relate to that, you know. And I have a relative that kind of has that errant type of son that so I was able to tap into that.
So we're going to have to find that there's a tagline for you now. It just coming to me looking through these songs. Tracye Eileen, Soul Philosopher.
Soul Philosopher. Okay, I like it.
The last person who had that tag was Bobby Womack. So you're in good.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm honored. Thank you.
Well, this is it. You've got the style and the disposition to handle these things, Tracye, which doesn't come easy. And what you've just said a moment ago, you have songs which have a structure, which have a beginning, a middle, an end, and a story. More important, you have the presence of mind to deliver them in your own way. That's you can't learn that. That's called soul, isn't it?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I think you have to be able to put yourself out there. So I like to think. Well, I know that I'm giving part of myself when I'm performing and singing.
So the next thing I would like from you, my dear, is a Tracye Eileen blues album.
Blues album. You know, it's so funny. I actually do an acoustic blues set at Buddy Guy's. I used to do it every month. And so I would sing twice a month, but I still do. I'm one of the opening acts for Buddy in January.
Yeah.
He has a residency in Chicago every January. So yeah, so that is I developed somewhat of a passion around blues by being at Buddy Guy's. I wasn't as into
you would do.
it.
I think you'd be imbibed in it there. The atmosphere must ooze
It
blues.
is. Oh my God. And I've seen some amazing blues musicians. Yeah. So so it's just so funny you should say that.
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes with because blues is very much an improvisation style of music.
It is.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's no right or wrong way and to express it. And it's funny because, you know, you have a lot of like the jazz enthusiasts and they're kind of snub their nose at smooth jazz. Well, I kind of think that happens in blues as well. If it's not a certain kind of way that you're performing it, it's not really the blues. And I think it's very much a personal interpretation of that as well.
Yeah. Well, somebody just asked in another forum the other day, what is the blues? And the old idea is blues is a feeling. It's not a lyric. Blues is a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
And you've managed to somehow, well, not somehow, it's a thing of talent and creativity. If you take a blues feeling and a song with a story, you've managed to combine the two elements and deliver them in Tracye Eileen style, which is a great merit.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much, Clive. Yeah, I mean, that is definitely a genre I enjoy. So I would totally think about that one. yeah, because I do enjoy it, and the mostly if I did do one, it would probably be acoustic.
Yes,
Hmm.
that would go better. Then you've got the voice becomes the power drive then, rather than the.
Yeah, and it's funny. I've done when I do the acoustic sets at Buddy Guy's, I've done it with keys and guitar, or keys and sax, or bass and sax. So it's kind of interesting the way those come together.
Yeah. So the target now is to get Introducing Tracye Eileen towards the top of all the charts globally.
Yeah.
With the radio stations I'm involved with, we'll do that a little bit to help that.
Okay.
Is there a plan after that, Tracye? What happens after that when we get back to perhaps a more normal way of life?
Oh, definitely touring. I can't express to you, I mean, how much I do miss performing. Because the goal has always been to be an internationally known soul jazz singer and recording artist. So it was, so this third project was the one that I had planned to take me to that next point. And I definitely wanted radio play. And so we got a lot of great reviews and feedback, but I had to learn the business part to get to the radio play
Yes,
aspect. So
indeed.
I
Yeah.
did that. And then the pandemic hit. So, so that kind of put a kibosh on the touring. So my strategy now is just trying to keep up the momentum from that project, and we're releasing another single in February, and and then just sort of continue to try to broaden the audience of people who are able to hear the music,
Yeah.
and plan for 2022 maybe.
Sure. Well, let's hope that solar radio at least will help to open a few more doors for you, Tracye, and wider doors so you can get both feet through, and your whole persona will then shine upon the soul universe.
Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. That makes me very happy.
Is there anything you want to tell me that I haven't asked you already?
Wow, this is a great interview. Definitely more, and I've done a few, and you've had some really great questions, which I've enjoyed answering. I'd like to just kind of learn more about solar radio.
Okay. Well, we solar radio started as a pirate station in London in 1984.
Okay.
Back before your years. And we promoted black soul music then, because there wasn't anything on the national broadcasting channels to actually do that.
Mm-hmm.
So we've crusaded over the years to promote and play African American music in all its styles, from soul, blues, jazz, gospel, R&B, even into the world of hip hop and others. We went off air to try and get a legal license in the 1990s. That didn't happen, but then came along the turn of the decade, the new century, and along came digital broadcasting on Sky. So we got a channel on Sky in year 2000 to broadcast satellite.
Nice.
And then since then, of course, the internet has come along. Streaming has become the default broadcasting method. And here we are back in 2020. Still broadcasting, and we think we've got a niche market as being the go-to soul station. That's solar radio.
Nice. Great. That's a great story.
And we have a presenting crew who've been around like me, some almost as long as me. This week marks my 40th year as a broadcaster. So
wow, okay. Very good. Very good.
all that time spent promoting the music that I've grown up with, from the soul music emergence in London in the 1960s up until now, and the pleasures of internet conversations with a lovely lady like yourself to help promote Tracye Eileen music as well. So we're there to push on forward.
Awesome. Yay. Great story. Well, I'm honored to have been able to share this time with you, and have the support of Solar Radio.
It's been my pleasure. Tracye Eileen, thanks very much for your time. Look forward to playing your music for years to come.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Clive.
Have a nice day.
Okay, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.